When it comes to Social Security timing, that's a big question we get asked amongst all of our advisors. And I'm going to tell you right now, back in the day when there was lucrative claiming strategies, many of you have heard of them, file and suspend, restricted application. Those were phenomenal strategies that could help families get a lot more money out of the system. Well, back in 2016, many of these strategies started going away, and so a lot of families are taking their benefits at face value. But you need to be aware you may be leaving the money on the table. Good day, everybody. Chris Heerlein here, partner at REAP Financial and host of Retire Ready TV on KXAN and Wealth Radio on News Radio KLBJ. Thanks for tuning into our YouTube channel. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up down below. Now let's dive into Social Security timing. Believe it or not, we've seen a growing trend of families that have saved and done a good job of saving, trending in a way that they need to potentially take Social Security early. Now, I know this is against a lot of what people read out there, but a lot of the articles you read out there, the advice you get out there is taking into effect the gross benefit amount, not the net benefit amount, not the amount after tax. And that's what really matters. How much are you going to keep long term? Now, obviously, when you take Social Security early, you can, in most cases, see a reduction in benefits because, yeah, you're getting a check earlier. It's a smaller check, but you're going to be getting it for a longer period of time. So most beneficiaries of Social Security can turn benefits on as early as 62, 66, 67, or even 70. That's the maximum age that you see families waiting for their benefits. Now, obviously, if you're working, this is a huge consideration, and most people, until they turn full retirement age with Social Security, may not want to take their benefit early. However, in today's strategy, I want to talk to you about why successful families that have saved more than $2 million in their retirement accounts, we're seeing that growing trend of families taking it early. And it boils down to the net number. You see, what a lot of families do is they wait on Social Security, and their benefit from age 66 or 67, depending on what your full retirement age is, it grows by 8% a year. 8% a year, guaranteed growth. That's pretty good. And that also includes the cost of living adjustments that are given each year. In the last couple of years, they've been relatively large. So this impact can mean a much larger Social Security benefit once you turn age 70 or later retirement years. Now here's the kicker. When most people turn age 72, this is when the government makes you take required distributions out of your IRAs and 401ks. And for those of you that have done the best job of saving in these accounts, this can create a large increase in your taxable income come tax time, because you're forced to take money out of these tax-deferred accounts that you've never taken money out of before. It's time for the government to get paid their tax dollars. The larger these accounts are, the larger that required minimum distribution is. And so what happens is we see a lot of families will go from a 12 to a 22% tax bracket when that required minimum distribution kicks in. We've seen people go from a 24 to a 32 to 35, and you get the picture. But what happens is with families that are waiting to take their Social Security until 70, at that point in time, you go turn on your larger Social Security check that you've been deferring, and just maybe a year or two later, when your required distribution kicks in, your tax bracket may jump. All that means is you're going to give a lot more back, quite possibly, of that maximized Social Security check that you've been waiting on all these years. Now, here's the alternative that many families are looking at. If you're retired, let's say early, 60, 61, 62, and you've got the assets to be able to retire, what many families are considering doing is taking their Social Security benefit as early as possible. And remember, as I mentioned at the top of this, when you take your benefit before your full retirement age, it's reduced. Now, yes, they're getting a smaller check, quite possibly. But remember, if they take it at 62, as I mentioned, well, they're now receiving a check every month, getting their money out of the government's bank, in this example, from 62 to 70. 8 years, it's a reduced check. But what's going on in that 8 years? Are they potentially in a much lower tax bracket from 62 to 72, right? Before that required minimum distribution kicks in? So if they're receiving a smaller check, but at a greater reduced tax bracket, they may potentially be netting more, and for many, many years. This is also relieving them from having to liquidate their retirement accounts too heavily in early retirement years. I call it killing your soldiers. It may chip down too early, too soon, and that can mean a loss of control when it comes to your tax bracket as well. We talk a lot about tax diversification, and it's so important that you are saving in multiple accounts that are going to be taxed in multiple styles of ways. This is how you have control, in some cases more control of your taxes in retirement than any time in your life. Everything you're reading out there these days says wait, wait, wait. And let me be clear, the majority of Americans, they likely do need to wait on their Social Security benefits. However, for a select group of successful families out there, you may need to consider having an analysis done because the data doesn't lie. And this is something we run for every individual in the office when we consult with them to identify if you are a candidate to take it early. But here's a great first step. You can email me, retire@reapfinancial.com. That's retire@reapfinancial.com. And you can get your hands on our Social Security Guide. We'll email it directly to your inbox. It's at no cost for all of our YouTube viewers. Thanks for tuning in today. We'll talk to you soon.